Welcome back to the Charity Charge Show, everybody. Today we are joined by Patrick Young, and he is the National Vice President of Workforce Development and Economic Development at the Youth Advocate Program. And they are really all about supporting youth and providing an alternative to incarceration, both for them and their families. And they have some just incredible success stories for their organization. Patrick, thank you for joining me today. Tell me a little bit more about the work that y'all are doing.
For that. First, I want to give a shout out from my hometown, New Orleans. I know, so we're excited. I mean, and it's honestly it's timely because of so many things that are happening across the country. People concerned about employment and opportunities and jobs. I work for youth advocate programs where we help youth impacted by the justice system trying to find alternative solutions to incarceration. So if you had, a simple mistake as a child, it shouldn't haunt you as an adult. So we can find pathways to put you on a better trajectory, then that's what we want to do. And so for me, my goal is to find you and engage you with employment opportunities. And so that's one of the best ways to really keep somebody busy, get them a job. Uh,
100%.
And so I'm just excited about it. And we oversee 33 states, CC, and even some international affiliates. So it's challenging and exciting. But as we think of this AI invasion of work, we also have to make sure that we're updating our youth to make sure that they're prepared to not only integrate AI into their work, but they can exceed and be successful as they move into their careers.
That's incredible. A stat that I saw that you shared, across, your social media is that it takes 274 days for a formerly incarcerated, individual to find employment. Tell me a little bit more about how your organization is addressing that and, reducing the barriers for someone to come and, really get back into the community.
Well, the first thing is that we're calling it out. I think that one of the main things is that there's an illusion that once someone has been impacted by the system, once they're released, oh, you just get a job and you get started, like it happens immediately. And that's not the
Mm.
truth. It's like 9 months, almost 9 months post incarceration. So that's too long. And we have to figure out, well, why is it taking so long? What are some of the challenges and barriers that people are experiencing that can alleviate and reduce that time? And a lot of it is just access to workforce, understanding the digital divide and how to upgrade yourself to get ready. I mean, even if you're just gone for 3 months, right? That's still a lot of time to be away because society and the way things are moving and the speed that it's moving, that 3 months is almost like 3 years. And so you really want to be able to be prepared when you come out. So we are working with the University of Chicago to develop a credentialized work readiness training program. We are working with partners like CVS to have immediate employment access upon a discharge, something overnight. If it was just an arrest, okay, now let's just find you some type of work. So we have employment partners. We also have what's called supported work, where we can pay a stipend to businesses who give experience, like an internship, to people that may be interested in the work field. So it's like 10 to 16 weeks supported work. And so again, we understand the challenge. And now that we understand the challenge, we know how to better address it.
It's incredible. Tell me a little bit more about the actual, program itself for the youth that are, coming through YAP. What does it look like day to day for them, and what is kind of the services that you are bringing, and what are the outcomes that you're hoping to kind of achieve?
So what makes YAP different is it's called YAP Rap, meaning that we fully embrace the whole person. It's like family centered coaching. So it's not just the individual or the youth that we work with, but we work with the family. If there's a family support needs,
Mhm.
we have a youth advocate. So the advocate really is like a family assistant. So if you can bring your child to school, if you can bring them to supportive programs, you have an advocate there that can work and help the family to figure out like what are some of the real challenges. If someone has court dates, if someone needs assistance to get their ID, the parent may not always be able to be the person to go and do it, but we have an advocate that can help with that. You have an outreach coordinator who is looking for jobs, helping you with your resume, building you up. So it's a full wraparound team of support services. We have behavior health specialists if you need to talk to a therapist. We support VR. So VR is vocational rehabilitation. So if there are disabilities or anxieties or something difficult that's dealing with, even within the school, you have your advocate that can go and support and be there for you. So and because sometimes when something goes wrong, it's too easy just to blame the parents. Where was the mother? Where was the dad? Or, it's no, it's
Maybe at a
just
job. Yeah,
right.
working.
And so it's what we want to do is bring that personalized community back into play. Sometimes they say it takes a village. Well, what if you had an individual village for you in everything you do? And that's YAP. YAP is your individual support village that can support you to make sure that this mistake doesn't become a pattern.
That is incredible, and it really feels like it's this holistic approach, and I think that's maybe a key differentiator with your programs and kind of the impact that you're having on your community. I saw that there was a statistic that you'll share that 86% of your youth justice participants remain arrest-free, and 6 to 12 months after completing it, 90% of them are still living in the community and are working jobs. Tell me a little bit more about, the impact that you're seeing, in terms of kind of building that success within, your programs.
And that's really glad that you pointed out because the numbers matter. Is what do we do? How well do we do it? Are people better off? And to say that, 86 to 90% of our participants are better off because of our program, it speaks volumes of what it means when you have a support system.
Mm.
And that's all it is. It's nothing but caring people of saying we want to get around and support this person, and we shouldn't have to wait till a tragedy strikes to get around a community. Recently, there was a school shooting in Minnesota, unfortunately, and then it's like, oh, the community's going to come around and support these students. That's great, but we need to be proactive to do that even before the shooting. We want the school to know that the community is there and people are there. So we try to find it to where we could impact even more. We want to get it to where it's 95% of the people, because no matter what system you have, you're going to have something that falls off. But to say that we're engaging at such a high level and for 50 years, that's to say that we've been doing
I
it.
was about to ask. Yeah, I know that it's a new role for you, but it is
Right.
not a new, organization. You've been around for 50 years, and, you're celebrating that, this year. Tell me a little bit more about the celebrations that are, happening, and also kind of what's the next 50 years look like for the organization?
So it's a milestone. I mean, many organizations don't really get to see 50.
Yeah.
And to say that it was just something that started in Pennsylvania and now expanded globally, it's huge, it's important. But again, it gives credit to just the simple mission of the organization. We're going to do a lot of highlighting of what we've done in the past, but also we're going to be innovative in bringing the forethought of what the next 50 looks like and how we really want to engage and change just our approach to all the new things that we can bring. We're gonna have a 5K run, walk. We're gonna have a great dinner celebration just to highlight the CEO and just again all the amazing work that we do within the organization.
It's incredible, and as you kind of stepped into this position, where do you see, this is a really it's a challenging year and ecosystem of the nonprofit space, right? We're seeing that the demand for nonprofit services is increasing, and at a federal level, funding is kind of on a decline. How are you seeing your organization navigate, one, this year, and then two, kind of as we go into the future?
By being future forward, and so a lot of times people prepare for present work, but we're going to do the future work. What my role, what I'm excited about again, is that we're partnering with the University of Chicago to have the first in the country. It's a national credential around work readiness training. So when you complete our YAP Works training, you'll get a credential from the University of Chicago. We're bringing in VedX to do virtual and metaverse learning. Again, we're partnering with corporate partners like CVS on the front end to know that as technology and AI updates, we're going to update and upgrade and be ready as well.
I love that. Such a common theme of the nonprofit space is that kind of collaboration, right? Your role, right? You have that demand within your base, and then you also have these corporate partners and sponsors. How has it been? How are these conversations? Is there a big desire and want from these corporate sponsors to really provide this work, or is this really kind of a you're going in and you're asking and you're kind of trying to provide the value and explain it to them?
I think it's both. I think it's both. There is engagement just to bring an awareness because you want people to know that you exist. But when you do talk to people, it's the same thing. I mean, the human side of us, we have kids, and it's like, well, what's happening with our kids? This is your kid. This is my kid. My son is 12. In a few years, he's going to get into the workforce, and so what does that space looks like for him? And so we want to create pathways and opportunities
Mhm.
ahead of time. And we have to start thinking now. What the jobs report released earlier this year, it said this is one of the toughest job markets, even for college graduates. And so even if someone is
Yeah, it's at an
in
all-time high for,
it's
college
all-time
graduate
high.
unemployment.
So, it means
Yeah,
we have to start earlier. We can't just wait till you complete college to have the discussion about what does work readiness in the job market look like. We need to start as soon as possible. And so, that's what I'm excited about is bringing this information to kids, to schools, and whether you're involved in the system or not, you should have access to the best wraparound services for you and your family. So we don't have mistakes. We just have a lot of success and congratulations and stuff like that.
I absolutely love that, and, that was a fantastic answer. Something I really want to get into a little bit. Nonprofit leaders that are listening in, that are looking to their organization, their community, their teams, and are trying to look towards the future as well. What advice, what lessons would you give them as they look to prepare their organization for the challenges ahead?
This isn't the workforce and this isn't the world that we grew up in. It's changed. And so we have to and I give the example of, when I went to school, I had a beeper and that was the that was the way I communicated. Well, my son, he has what iPhone 16 is, and so you can't have a beeper mentality in the iPhone 16 world. You have to be able to make those updates and upgrades the same way we do our devices. And again, those closest to the problems are closest to the solution. If every place you go to, you see youth on devices, on headsets, then why are we standing outside watching them in their world? We have to integrate that world into this new world of work.
Kinda meet them where they're at.
Right. And so again, AI innovation is right now, it's gonna just this year alone, AI has wiped out 25% of workforce jobs and opportunities.
It's scary, yeah, and
It's
so many of those are
scary,
entry-level positions, and that's why we're
entry
seeing
level position. And
this
so
collegiate
we have to find a
collegiate
way to
unemployment.
integrate that, but also be a part of that change. Instead of eliminating, how can we incorporate? And that should be some of the thinking around it. And then also, moving forward, I'm big on again VR, virtual reality spaces. My son spends all his money on Roblox, and and it's just like, how do we now put our nonprofits in these virtual reality spaces? If you can have a Fortnite or all these other, like there's another one called
Platform.
Gorilla Tag. These are spaces that they and spatial and all these spaces, we can create nonprofit work in VR spaces. And you can exist in those spacing games, in those streaming platforms, on those gaming platforms, whether it's Twitch or Discord. You can exist there too. You don't have to just watch other people. You can participate in the process. And so if you're not involved in TikTok, get involved in it. It's not a fad. It's not something that's just happening, it's going away. But it's like now, how do you again, update and upgrade to
I love that, yeah.
outperform the same way we use our technology.
Where I see that and what I kind of pull from that is find where your audience is, be that your community or your donors, and just keep it simple. That's where you should be as well. And where we're seeing it move towards, as you're kind of alluding to, is more digital. And I think that is something that a lot of nonprofit leaders can look towards is how do we take, our mission, our history, and how do we bring that and then now find and approach this new area? I absolutely love that. What are your kind of thoughts on that?
Yeah, let me give you a good example.
Okay.
If we were to go to any park right now, a swing set, you're gonna see parents there, kids on the swings, and making sure that there's no white van pull up and kidnap the kids, correct? Well, in the digital world, you have kids on these digital playgrounds, right? And there are white digital vans who are pulling up every day, and there are no parents. There's no nonprofits. There's no people to make sure that these kids are safe. And
Safeguarding.
so it's like just as adamant as we are in the physical space, we need to be just as adamant in the digital space. And if we're providing supportive services, we should be there. That's why we do these wraparound services to where no, we're going to be there for the family, for the support, not only in the physical space, but I'm saying now we need to move into that digital space as well. If you're going to see YAP
Mm.
at your kid's school, you should see YAP in your kids' gaming. And so that's the thing because we can't just say that, oh, there's a threat online where there should be a support online. There should be advocates online. And so that's where we want to exist in that space as well.
I love that. Patrick, thank you for coming on and, sharing a little bit more about your work. As we kind of
Again, who that?
wrap
Thank you for
wrap
having
up,
me.
of course, as we wrap up, I think that the big 50th year anniversary, it's about 60 days away, correct?
Yes, it is November.
What's the date on that, and how can people get involved?
You can go to our website at yapinc.org. It's November 6th. Please come out, enjoy, celebrate with us, but also engage to see where we can support. Again, we're in 33 states, DC, 6 countries. So there's a YAP near you somewhere. And so it's
100%.
just tap in with me and I'm be happy to connect you with some employment opportunities.
Amazing. Well, thank you for coming on and, for our nonprofit audience, definitely get involved with Patrick and his work. And I hope that some of the lessons that came out from this episode are valuable to you. At Charity Charge, our goal is to power nonprofits and their leaders. We do that through this podcast and our newsletter and our blogs. We also do that through our no fee financial tools. So if that's something that y'all ever are also looking for and needing, feel free to reach out to us as well. Patrick, thank you for coming on, sharing more about the work that y'all are doing over at Youth Advocates Program. There's a big need for it. There's a big demand, and also sharing on how you and your organization are preparing for the future. And I'm excited to see where your organization goes from here.
Man, thank you so much again. Who that to my saints. I hope we do well. Better than yeah, but
We'll see. We'll see.
we'll
I think it'll be a
see.
tough year for y'all.
All right,
Okay.
Grayson, appreciate
Thanks,
charity
everybody.
change. Y'all keep doing great work.